We just had one of the greatest years in gaming history, but 2023 kicked my fucking ass and it dealt critical damage. At the beginning of 2023, I made a video going through essentially every game I played in 2022, but for at least the first 7 months of 2023, I began to realize I might not be able to make an actual video for this year since I played a whopping 3 games all the way till August. And I'm not here to make excuses or anything, but I was busy. I was working 2 jobs for about 16 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week, and maybe that wasn't the best idea looking back. I mean, 2 fucking jobs means no games, to put it lightly. It's no social life.
I don't know if I'm asking for help or whatever this call may be, but something like changed in me this year, working so much. I'm not asking for help, but I'm asking for help, you know? I need y'all to push me, because for some reason, I don't know.
So with that in mind, I didn't really have time to play games, or eat, or even sleep for that matter, but 2023 took a lot of energy out of me, and it showed me really how far my limits can go. I'll explain more as I go through my games list, but let's mention why August is so important to me. Not only did one of my favorite games of the year come out in August, but also I quit one of my jobs that month and went on a trip with N10 to raise money for charity. Then immediately after, I started dating my now current girlfriend. It was a fantastic month for me, and it even got me back into gaming for that year. Post 2-job crisis era, I played around 20 games or so, and in the end, I did get my fill of gaming for the year. A mix of old and new, of course, AAA and indie games. I discovered that I played the most new games I think I've ever played in my life. So sit back and relax a little bit because gaming in 2023 was just an experience. Alright, I get it. This is my second year talking about Persona 5. No, I'm not done with this abnormally long visual novel with a side of actual RPG gameplay. But I will say I am long enough to talk about how absolutely amazing it is in almost every other way. The story just keeps getting better, and the dialogue is some of the best parts of this game, executing each character uniquely, and the intense villain moments when they're against the whole group. It's always so much fun. I love how every character is their own, but it doesn't make you feel like you're experiencing someone else's story. It does really feel personal to you. One day you will randomly see an hour-long Persona 5 video from me, so I'm not too worried about displaying all of my opinions now. Don't worry. In the middle of the year, me and my best friend JV decided to hop on a game we've never tried before, and too quickly it became pretty much the only game we played for a couple months. Stardew Valley was definitely one of the top 3 best games I've played overall this year, and partly due to how good it was to play with my friend. Bringing everything I loved about the Harvest Moon franchise, but making it less of a drag when it came to pacing. It mixes some of the old school Zelda elements, all in this great everlasting RPG that you can fully enjoy with multiple friends and even alone. Having a game like this that plays itself off as some cutesy Terraria looking farming simulator to unsuspecting players turns into this several 100-hour long playthrough of mystery and relationships and exploration done far better than lots of the other bigger games out here. Leave it to Stardew Valley to just unexpectedly take over as my biggest comfort game and one of my favorite games that I've played this year. To quickly list through some of the older games I decided to play this year, whether it was a replay or for the first time, was things like Kirby's Dream Land, the OG of Kirby. What a fantastic way to start off this series that embodies comfort and everything wholesome. This game, I've replayed this one for very sentimental reasons. This was one of the best games I played in between working those 2 tiresome full-time jobs, and it came at a time where I really needed to distract myself from that world, and Kirby really helped me achieve that. Ooh, with Kirby's Epic Yarn, very briefly my girlfriend let me play Kirby's Epic Yarn with her since it was multiplayer, and I haven't played any Wii game in a very long time, and I never realized this game was actually co-op. It was alright for the most part. We didn't play it too much, so I never really got I guess, invested. Yeah, for Halloween, I replayed Luigi's Mansion for what is probably the 8th time, realistically. No, I didn't get a Halloween video out this year. I know, just please. Luigi's Mansion, though, is beautiful in every way and still one of my favorite games of all time still. The GameCube can never really die. Ooh, we did play Among the Sleep. I remember playing this when it came out and never actually finishing it. I finally completed it this year around Halloween time, and I see what it did for the time. Sadly, I think it's a game that doesn't age well, and I'm not the horror game guy, so listen to my opinion behind a closed door. I gotta get my yearly Pokemon in, so I started my 3rd Pokemon Black playthrough, and I also stopped my 3rd Pokemon Black playthrough. I don't know why, and every time I hear about Pokemon Black, it's always considered the best story game among the mainline games. For some reason, I keep stopping around the 5th gym, so I don't know. I have to be pressured into actually completing it. Can you give me a reason why I actually should complete it? I feel like I need a jump. Overcooked 2 was awesome to play, and but I'm not the best to play with, so sincerest apologies to my partner for putting up with me burning the meat every single time. Umurangi Generations is a fantastic indie game that I do wish I appreciated even more than I do. It has that good photography mechanic, and it has the cel-shaded jet set style graphics and charm that I love so much. It even has this world building and some form of plot progression with absolutely no dialogue whatsoever. This game is amazing. Except I don't feel like replaying it again, and after playing it, I don't feel amazing. I thought I would absolutely gush over this game, and maybe one day I still will say all of its qualities and along with its flaws. As for the game myself, I think I overhyped it. As much as I did enjoy the hell out of it, it didn't exactly give me 100% of what I thought I wanted. This year was my year to unlock my newer love for the PlayStation 2. One Piece Grand Battle Adventure, Dragon Ball Budokai, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. The fighting games on PS2 are fucking nuts. I gained a lot to my collection this year, so here's like a quick rundown of some of my new favorite pickups. This game is really good. I played the first one with my brother. I never played the second one. I'm gonna play with my friends. I don't know why I bought this one. It was $6 and it looked funny. I like it. It's funny. I have a need to collect every Star Wars game, so it's that. This Soul Calibur 2, this is Japanese copy though, so I can't actually play it unless I get like some modded PS2, which shouldn't be hard. I got Soul Calibur 3, this is the English version. This is the first Soul Calibur that you can customize, I think. Unreal Tournament is one of the most influential shooting games of all time. I stand by it as one of the best, so that's gonna be fun multiplayer. Kingdom Hearts, oh my god, so good. So good. I only got like halfway. Star Wars. Thrillville, surprisingly good. Don't forget Final Fantasy X is right up there. Another Star Wars. This one's really good multiplayer, like unironically really good for its time. And then also a good multiplayer, 20 Pro Skater 3. What could be a good multiplayer but hasn't yet? Time Splitters. I love number 2, so I had to get them all. And then the other Kingdom Hearts. This one is funky though, but it was a good deal. Yeah, I really love the PS2, and going out in the wild to random game stores or Goodwill or wherever the fuck, I really enjoyed finding random PS2 games because there's such a massive library of good shit, and I'm kind of discovering it all for the first time. This one makes sense if you've seen the video before this one. My last video, I played through Super Mario 64 again, and my goal this time was to speedrun it after not touching the game for 7 years. I love this game to its barest bones, and I don't think any challenge or opinion could ever change my mind on that. Nostalgia factor, high. Mechanic gameplay, high. This game is perfect. Fortnite is just Fortnite. I don't know what to say. They added not only their OG Battle Royale back, which has been a blast, but Lego Fortnite and Guitar Hero on top of that, like damn. In some type of way, I'm proud to say how much Fortnite has become like more fun. I don't know. I could sit here and describe why me and my girlfriend love Power Wash Simulator. Or I could tell you that it took me about 6 days to put in almost 50 hours of power washing shit and puke and dirt off of random locations. I am obsessed with Power Wash Simulator, and my one and only complaint is that it did not give me one of the last PlayStation trophies that I needed for the Platinum. Either the game or a recent update has some type of glitch where it just doesn't show up. So when I beat the career mode, if you're a Platinum hunter, please beware. it did not give me what I thought I would receive. I played a lot of new games this year, which is unheard of for me. But the last older game I want to talk about before I mention all of the new ones is one I never thought I would be playing, but it caught me by such a surprise. I dipped my toes for the first time ever into the game series Life is Strange, and I will confirm right now, sometime in 2024, I will be reviewing all of them, said and done. 2023 showed me my truest nature of what I cherish when it comes to accountability, and I am terrible when it comes to holding myself accountable. Life is Strange is one of the last games I played and beat in 2023, and thankfully my girlfriend forced me into playing this game that did well with resonating too much. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna wear rose-tinted glasses when I talk about this game. I will mention the campiness, the outdated memes and jokes, and sometimes stupidly silly character dialogue, but that's 10% of the game, 15 at best. The other 85 to 90% is filled with stress, friendship, death, and anxiety-inducing scenes. These games are most certainly not built for me, but it did help me with holding accountability for my actions and marching forward with decisions that feel right without knowing the ending consequence. Life is Strange is still a great game almost 10 years later, and I'm genuinely excited to play through this series. I would love to talk more, but how much do I really want to spill here rather than its own dedicated video? I mentioned a lot about accountability and started this video off with telling you how much I worked my ass off this year. 2023 was so hard for me, and gaming became this nuisance. It was something I wanted to do but genuinely had no time to do it. I was getting barely 4 hours of sleep a day, 2 hours of my day were transportation, and the rest was quite literally work. I had 2 full-time baking jobs, and the only reason I could do them was because I trained to do them as fast as I could. The faster I got, the more time I had to sleep, but the faster I got, the more energy I quickly exerted into just the physical work. I began to hate what I did to myself, and honestly, life started to mean a lot less the more I gave away my time, my energy, and my soul to the world with what felt like careless tasks. I think that's why I'm excited to mention August. August was its own year. I got to finally quit my afternoon baking job, and I got a way better position and schedule at my original job. Yes, I'm still a donut baker, don't worry. Around mid-August, I went to PA, and I took a trip to see the one and only group, N10, some of my best friends that I made along this YouTube journey. We did so much together in only a weekend and secured a spot as some of my best moments in 2023 and even my entire life. We raised over $1,600 in our charity stream for kids. That's over $130 an hour raised for the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. I couldn't be happier with the outcome and the special monumental factor that with this event, it was the first time we were all together in person. I can finally publicly say thank you to everyone that supports me just to stop and say hi and even donate. My roommates JV, Ian, Chaz, and Colby, they were all a part of the stream and helped donate some. Good friend and YouTuber KDP, they even shouted out, donated, and was chilling in the stream for a bit. My now current but new girlfriend at the time donated around $400. Thanks for making that day insanely special for not only me, but my friends and the people that we helped. Thank you for helping kids in need. That's really what was most important for us then. Oh, as I mentioned, in August, I started dating my current partner, and it's been nothing but amazing. I'm not one to put things like this in videos because I have this weird hatred for poorly aging things in videos. I always thought of myself as an evergreen content person. I don't really do updates often, nor do I try to fill my channel with reactions. Man, am I excited to say how good things are going. As this is a New Year's video and personal to me too, I can't just throw that aspect aside. She was definitely a key milestone in making 2023 important for me. But back to the games, one of the main games that brought me back from my overload of work back into consistent gaming was the brand new spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio that came out in August. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Holy shit, I've been waiting for this game for years. Alongside all of the other Jet Set fans, this was the game we've been dreaming of for so long. That shit delivered. The refinement of this gameplay loop we all loved was done with so much love, and the music to fit added that beauty of that hip hop funky drum and bass shit we all needed. The characters are so cool, and for anyone who is ever thinking or even slightly curious about Jet Set Radio, try BRC instead and give this successor a go. It's built so well for the modern age by replicating the original mechanic just extremely well. It's unfortunately not like the most perfect game, nor it is the most perfect Jet Set Radio game by any means, and maybe newer fans might find some confusion that Jet Set fans would likely overlook. It has some elements that do feel a bit old, but that's in comparison to the old one. The old Sega IPs just feel so fresh and good, and I feel like this kind of fits that factor with just little modern intricate details that make gaming just easier. I think Bomb Rush Cyberpunk has most likely my second favorite game of this year that came out. Speaking more of the new indies, I randomly played Smushy Come Home. This is one of the cutest indie games I think I've ever seen or played. Smushy is silly, it's charming, and it has this cute complete circle that wraps up the game nicely, all making me fall in love with the game. Smushy is what happens when a passionate and very talented game developer wanted to essentially make Legend of Zelda Wind Waker but Cute Mushroom Edition. And it just works so well. The soft, carefree soundtrack accompanies the fun platforming exploration nicely, and the characters speak just so stupidly to each other, I ended up wanting to talk to everybody. Smushy does add this really interesting addition where you log every mushroom you find and you fill up your Shroomepedia, so to speak. With this cartoony but nice looking 3D models of the mushroom and useful facts that fill up the page about each mushroom you find, I love games that can teach me real world things you've never wanted to exactly learn before. Honestly, I do love mushrooms. I think they can have dozens of uniquely interesting qualities, and they have such a wide span form of uses, along with the idea that they can be just cute tiny little creatures like Smushy. The mushroom fans are quaking with this game. Smushy plays like Wind Waker though, and has similar graphical effects too. The biggest one of the bunch being Smushy's big leaf that he can use to glide away in the wind. He uses wind spirits, and they let him free flow through the magics of the wind at his disposal, with stamina limitations of course. It's a great little traversal experience and done really well in this tight world they created. I love Smushy, and out of any of the indie games, it took me by surprise the most this year. I don't think you can mention new indie games in 2023 without Lethal Company being at the top of the list, the newest and one of the best multiplayer experiences you can get on Steam in the last couple months. It's lonesome, it's terrifying, it has this weird combined feeling of a pressure to perform and do your objective while somehow ended in feeling wasted and lifeless and like a useless sense of time passed to you. Then you add the perfect balance of your dumbass friends along with you in proximity chat, making some of the best clips and gaming moments of the entire year. It's a wonderful gameplay loop, and the randomness to its map structure and level choices help ramp this game up each playthrough. This is a game all can enjoy, beginner or vet. It's an indie game I really hope keeps getting updated so it'll stick around for years to come. The indie games were outstanding this year, but luckily we didn't rely on those solo-inspired devs and teams to build these beautiful experiences for us. Our AAA treasures blessed us this year with new environments to explore like Hogwarts Legacy, which I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom added the new ways of exploring lots of people's favorite world. And Baldur's Gate 3 just became what seemed like the greatest RPG of the past multiple decades. Yet I didn't get to play any of these. While these are on my list for 2024 to dive into, my new AAA experience really boiled down to 3 games that I admired way too much. But to tell you first off, one of these games is an amazing PlayStation exclusive that came out in 2023 that I thought I would never get to play until, as my early Christmas and birthday present, my girlfriend got me a fucking PS5. And she custom painted gum from Jet Set Radio onto the PS5 case with a digital copy of Spider-Man 2. First of all, how? What words can explain how unspeakable this year flipped around with a switch of a console and the help of an irreplaceable girlfriend? See, I'm not one to talk too much about the personal stuff in videos that might not age well, but I can't act like I paid for a fucking PS5 by myself. You know I'm broke. And what an investment. We've played the hell out of this console already in just the last month. We got 70 hours into Power Wash Simulator. She played through South Park: The Stick of Truth. I've been playing Stardew and Life is Strange on here. It's such a fantastic console with one of the most dynamic, greatest controllers I've ever owned. If there is ever a controller to overtake the GameCube controller as my favorite, it would be the PS5 DualShock. With this new system, it came with Spider-Man 2, and just like the last two entries, I set out to platinum this new one also. And I never would have imagined to play it so close to launch too. In my mind, it was going to be one of those games I might see the chance of playing in around 3 years after its release. The actual game is wonderful though. It's every good thing about Spider-Man and Miles Morales just neatly fitted into this combo deal. The DualShock additives are what I assumed what really set apart Spider-Man 2 compared to its predecessors, and there are some really cool little details attached to it, like sound effects for example. From the controller you can hear web slings, phone calls from missions, you can hear such a nice glass shattering effect when you open those rock crystals.
1 minute I was with you.
There's a good amount of stuff like that. There's also physics-based movement with the controller that I didn't typically feel in the previous games and with the PS4 DualShock. Like, again, with these rock crystals, when you break it open, it applies super heavy pressure to both of your triggers, making it feel as close as it could be for you ripping apart a rock like Spider-Man. It doesn't feel like a game made for the controller exactly, so there will be really dumb things like raising the controller to raise Peter's hands on the roller coaster. Yeah, that one's just funny. I can't really criticize that though. I haven't even finished the main game yet, and so far it's been really nice to explore this Spider-Man's New York, but more expansive and more intricate movement this time. It's definitely a game I'm slowly pacing myself with though. I never feel this way, but I'm scared to finish this game and get the platinum for it and have to put it down for a while. I want to keep this game around as long as I can, and although some people might not understand why, I think it's what's best for me and my experience because I know I won't get this same experience again, at least for a long time. I'm going straight into this one because my last two games are new Nintendo games that released, and WarioWare, while not my top 5 games of the year at all or anything like that, new Nintendo games are this special thing for me since growing up, that would never be the case ever. Buying a full price Nintendo game the week it comes out? No, that's unheard of to me. So buying WarioWare to have and to enjoy that experience with my girlfriend was actually really awesome. I grew up with the first Wario game though on Game Boy Advance and then the same game on GameCube. I have such fond memories with that and playing it with my brother, and even now it's still so replayable. So naturally I was hoping this new entry would be similar since I haven't played a title since then all those years ago. And I think realistically most Nintendo fans can agree WarioWare might never be Nintendo's top 3 franchises. But playing through the short experience of WarioWare Move It reminded me of how important this series actually is for developer creativity and just silly multiplayer. We are in this golden age of indie multiplayers, but I believe that Nintendo has been really killing it with their first-party single-player experiences too. WarioWare for me is kind of the combination of both good aspects from each side. WarioWare Move It takes different positions with the Joy-Cons to play the micro games, so placing Joy-Cons on your knees and squatting for one minigame, while the next might require you to have a wrist strap on and just drop the Joy-Cons out of your hands. Some of these minigames that incorporate the weirder positions are way too creative. It actually confused us how someone thought to do this, but that's the charm, and that's why I kind of love this game. I know it's hard, but I really wished it was longer, because I was so ready for more after completing the main story. But as time moves on, after playing through this game, I find myself wanting to turn it on randomly and play some rounds or bringing it to parties and letting new people try out these goofy ass body movements. I don't think I will drop this game forever. I honestly don't want to. But with the market of Nintendo games and how short the story mode was, it kind of feels like it's forcing me to not sink more hours into this game, which is a little unfortunate. I would have loved longer gameplay, more updates, more random modes. For example, one mode that was surprisingly fun, I think it was called Mirror Mode. Essentially, one player stands facing the other player. So if player 1 had their backs to the TV screen, player 2 would face them and the screen to see what's going on. But player 1, he's controlling the game, but he can't see what's going on. So they have to mirror player 2's movements to achieve each minigame. I probably made that sound complicated, but a couple rounds of these is really fun. It's essentially charades. WarioWare is just a super good time, but this last game captivated so much of my time and thoughts and overall joy last year. I have to discuss it. my game of the year, and possibly the easiest choice for game of the year I've ever made. Super Mario Wonder is the best example of when developers love and care and take time for their games. Super Mario Wonder is the most recent 2D Mario game. And with all the bland branding of some of the older 2D new Super Mario Bros. Games, Wonder came out and completely destroyed the thought by itself. I'm a 3D Mario guy. I love my Mario 64, my Sunshines, and the Galaxies. I will choose the Mario sports games any day over any of the 2D platformers. But that's what makes this so much more outstanding. That Mario Wonder came through and changed that mindset completely. I love Mario Wonder, and it's now undoubtedly my favorite Mario game, period. Me and my girlfriend were ecstatic for this release. But playing through it, it even exceeded those expectations. So much so, we just 100% the game and even then played some more, putting around 40 hours into it, which I think is double the time it takes to even 100% it normally. It's just that fucking good, and I won't ever be able to fully explain how perfect of a Mario game this actually is. It's the best 2D Mario aesthetic with no competition. It has some of the most fun power-ups and abilities, and there's like 30 of them. The collectibles are addicting to collect and not always as easy as other Mario games were. I mean, it has gacha. This Mario game has gacha. This game has challenge. Of course, it's as hard as a Mario game could get without being Kaizo, and I'm afraid the multiplayer aspect will make it difficult for some of the younger players though. With the camera focusing on just one player, even playing with two people can account for some unreliable deaths, and I can imagine how unplayable this is for 4 people, especially kids. They did add Nabbit and Yoshi's, who are invincible, so kids could play with no consequences, but as the downside, they can't use a lot of the same abilities as the main cast can, making this kind of useless unless a baby is playing. But single player and even 2-person co-op has been one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had in my life. I've never been so physically heartbroken after being done with the game. I've never reached for more gameplay before so badly. Super Mario Wonder, along with the new PS5, was what made gaming for me in 2023, along with the indies of course. That year has been a well-adjusted, important year for me. I rediscovered love after years of ignoring those feelings. I found out what my limit was, physically, mentally, and even emotionally by juggling so many people's attentions and working 2 full-time jobs. I've learned I can't balance as much as I would love to. I can't really balance well at all, but I did prove to myself I can be better in ways I really never thought. At the beginning of 2023, I told myself one thing. I said, Noah, prove to yourself that you have the ability to be like a warrior, grow your skills and mindset like a ninja, fucking be a soldier in war. And I think while I envisioned these things quite differently than what actually happened, thinking back, I realized I did just what I told myself to. I have always been physically weaker and never been the smartest person in the room, but damn, am I creative? And for that alone, I will always love that part. This year, I did my first ever completed mile in under 10 minutes. Yes, ever. I could never run properly as a kid, so attempting to run for like longer periods of time always destroyed my heels and my gut and my liver. It was always so painful. But this year I went from no mile to a 15-minute mile, and then a 13-minute mile, a 12, an 11, a 10, and finally 9 minutes. It was shit like that. Little shit that doesn't affect anyone affected me the most because it was for me and only me. And that's what brought me the most satisfaction last year. Everything happened that year, but those periods of working 2 jobs so much really made it feel like a blip. That scared me actually more than I can even admit. But now that I'm here, alive, with the people I love and the opportunities I can make, I'm so glad I tried my best and struggled last year, because I truly think 2024 will have all of that pay off. I don't want to make the longest outro ever and talk about every little detail, but I like these year recap videos just for me to look back on and start the new year right. I'm really hoping this is what kickstarts me back into content, so let's have faith in me saying you can expect more this year. I hope you've had an important year too. I'm glad you all made it through here alive. Let's make this one even better. Thanks for listening. Peace and love. It's been Roxx. See ya.